Let's take a look at your grid for race one. Ian Dyke on pole position, Chris Gilmore alongside him, then Karl Reindler, Daniel Pappas, Aaron Karate, Marcus Marshall, Peter Hackett and Wayne Russell, Craig Rundle in 8th spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we go back to David Borg, then Bill Maddox, Mahir Al-Ghazri, Bevan Carrick, Heath Eustace, John Pettit and Michael Navybox rounding out your top 15 cars.
Well, yesterday in qualifying, Peter Hackett had one almighty moment at huge speeds. Earlier today we caught up with the man to find out what transpired.
It didn't have much track time in practice through a few mechanical difficulties, and engine temperature was coming up. We had a lap to go, and I said to the guys on the radio, we'll have a bit of a go. And into the first chicane, just locked the rear wheels on me. Whether it was a bias issue, we had brake season practice, so whether it was a recurring problem or I just got on the line or dirty circuit, but she turned around real quick and bounced across the curbs, and we didn't touch any walls. Thank God for the gravel.
Well, we're getting set for the start. The search for a new champion in 2004. Lights out. Gilmore off the line like an absolute bullet. Will he lead down into turn one? Yes, he will, Wayne Russell. He's showing a clean set of hills.
Absolutely, and on cold tyres, big effort, huge effort. And let's see what this championship's going to bring out. But I think Karate had a stall as well, but he's managed to get going.
You're on board with Marcus Marshall having his first race in Formula 3 racing. Sitting back there in 3rd spot at the moment behind Ian Dyke, the pace setter of the weekend.
Marcus Marshall, fantastic start. Started 6th and up to 3rd already. Fantastic effort.
This is their first championship race of 2004, but they did have a non-championship race in New Zealand, and the winner of that race, Daniel Gord, joins us in the studio. Daniel, these cars very tricky on these opening laps.
Yeah, they are. With cold tyres, they're not an easy car to drive, and they've all managed to get away all right, bar one, but yeah.
Gives you an idea of what they're like. That's coming from a Gold Star winner, ladies and gentlemen. Looking further back through the field, looks like Craig Rundle is leading the first of the trophy class cars too, now upgraded to 98 spec cars, so any car built before 1998 is eligible to race in the trophy class as the battle continues for the race lead. Well, this is a bit of a surprise, Wayne, to see Gilmore out in front.
Yeah, look, I think Gilmore's just a little bit braver on cold tyres at the moment. We'll see if Dyke can respond, or Marcus Marshall, or look at the understeer there as he turns full lock to try and get around a fraction of snap oversteer on the way out.
You have to assume that these tyres would come up to pressure pretty quickly around this very demanding race circuit, and what a place to debut a season. Concrete walls everywhere, no room for error. How daunting is that for a race car driver, Daniel?
Well, it's daunting for the most experienced drivers, let alone on your first outing in one.
Marcus Marshall has suffered with some mechanical problems throughout this weekend, starting to become a little bit frustrated. That's his teammate, Karl Reindler, right up behind him and challenging for 3rd spot.
And what a good effort Karl Reindler's putting in this weekend with qualifying and that, but isn't qualifying taking its toll? We've had a few spins and accidents, and in this concrete jungle, you just can't afford to do that.
Oh, Marcus Marshall having a big moment there. Karl Reindler, his teammate, right up behind him. Now, this can be difficult for Karl Reindler. He's got a big-name driver as we go on board with Peter Hackett in his stable. Daniel, does that put you off psychologically?
No, I think Karl's just going to Marcus has raised the bar, and Karl's going to step to it.
Well, he's certainly doing a pretty good job at the moment. There's your race leader. It was a bit of a surprise packet, stepped out of New South Wales racing, up into Formula 3. Had an outing last season and really is showing a good turn of foot out on the track at the moment. You can see Peter Hackett desperately in the Piccolo Scuderia car trying to clinch onto the back of Karl Reindler, who's now having a go at Marcus Marshall as they come down towards the final turn.
Yeah, they're right in the slipstream now, but look at Hackett under brakes, getting it all crossed up. That was deep braking and nearly outbraked himself, but held it together.
Scared me. Imagine what he feels like. Ian Dyke starting to put in some quick laps now, starting to bring this gap down between 1st and 2nd. We're on board with Michael Navybox from the Michael Navybox School of Motorsport in Goulburn, being overtaken by John Pettit. Doing a great job is Pettit, racing in the Bob Johns car that Bart Moore raced successfully to 2nd last season.
Yeah, well, Pettit had his problems in qualifying as well. I think he tapped the wall and lost the back wing on his car, but he's managed to get back up, and he's carving his way through the field very, very quickly.
Well, look at this for a run. Ian Dyke right up behind Gilmore this time round, and look at the time, 1:19.62 on the previous lap. Ian Dyke sets a new lap record and now looks to try and take the race lead side by side. Gilmore drives safe, doesn't turn in.
Oh, what a fantastic move by Dyke into the slipstream and made it stick, but here's Marcus Marshall. Oh, there's Karl Reindler down the inside, got Marcus Marshall under the same move.
Yeah, he didn't get a good start, Karl Reindler, but he's been able to work very hard on the back of Marcus Marshall. Here comes Pettit too, straight up the inside of the 60 car. Oh, well back backs out of it.
Gee whiz, that was hard on the brakes. That was a smart move by Pettit, actually, to be able to pull back out of that. Otherwise, they were going to hit wheels.
Bevan Carrick coming across and picking up his race line, which you're entitled to do, Daniel.
That's smart driving, that. Pulling out rather than trying to pull the move off. You could lose your front wing and that could end your race.
If you did lose a front wing, can you replace these in pit lane easily?
Yeah, it's not as quick as a Formula 1 wing change, but you can certainly do it rather quick.
Craig Rundle having a battle with Michael Navy Box. This is the battle for the trophy class, and what a great run. He got out of the sweeper too. Navy Box is in trouble further up the field. Oh, big dice here between David Borg and Daniel Pappas. Those two having an almighty go further up in the field. David Borg trying to pull some breathing space between he and Pappas at the moment.
There are passing manoeuvres going all over the track, but to just see that sweeper, I reckon Navy Box had to have a lift, and the car behind just got a perfect run, and I reckon he's taken him down the bottom.
I think it might have... he's around, Borg spun it. Unbelievable. All on his own. Does the flick turn, gets it nicely done too. Keeps it tight, and he had to do it because Pettit was coming through.
Oh, did you see that? It could have got really nasty very quickly, but he actually spun and just flicked it back around on one side of the track, and he did very, very well there.
That'll make his day. He'll feel like Michael Schumacher now as we go on board with Peter Hackett for Rudolph Massey Motorsport, Piccola Scuderia.
The onboard shots are just nothing short of sensational, Grant Boyden.
Oh, look, it just gives you an idea of exactly what it's like in one of these open wheels. Well, Daniel, does it?
Yeah, it does. You don't quite get the lateral G-forces that you do in the car, but it's certainly good to have the onboard shots.
To see how hard they're working behind the wheel. Now Peter Hackett starts to come under some pressure down in turn one, and straight through goes the 6 car.
Daniel Pappas, of course, but hey, I've got to tell you, Hackett had a look on the left-hand side. As soon as you look to your left, you know you're gone, you know the driver's got you.
Well, that's pretty good going by Pappas. He's picked up the 2 Piccola Scuderia cars pretty quickly. 1:19.54 is the fastest lap of the race set by Ian Dyke. That was shortly after overtaking Gilmore. So he's not only set the fastest lap of the race, he set a new lap record and the fastest ever lap by any car around this circuit.
And I mean, that is like 4 seconds a lap faster than a V8 supercar. That gives you an idea just how fast these cars are. That a 19.7 was the old lap record. We're down to 19.4s now. That is just phenomenal.
Down through the sweeper. You were just on board with Peter Hackett looking down the road at that man, Daniel Pappas.
Oh, lovely under brakes. You can see he's right on that limit there, Peter Hackett. He's trying everything he can to catch up under brakes. He's a demon late braker, Peter Hackett is.
Well, he only picked up this drive very, very late, but it's good to see him back out on the track. Here comes Ian Dyke down past the start-finish line, puts in, another blinding lap, 1:19.49, goes quicker again. Somebody shut the gate.
The guy is just nothing short of phenomenal. He's on the money this weekend. He has absolutely got that car set up and travelling well.
And Michael on board with Michael Navy Box as he looks back. Oh, lives at round 2, down in inside turn. Almost takes Bevan Carrick out as a result.
Going the wrong way now.
Just a little bit too much on the rear brakes and the back of the car stepped out. Now he gets it pointed in the right direction. Hackett down into pit lane. Looks like he's going to be a DNF.
Oh, no. I mean, once you come into pit lane, that's it. Your race is basically run and won and done.
And he's going very, very slowly. John Pettit around. That's all happening. Yellow flags on display. Now, fortunately, he didn't go all the way in. He's not in the sand trap, so that's a good result for him. Well, what do you think happened there, Daniel?
Too much rear brake bias by the look of that.
Lucky not to hit the wall. Let's head down into pit lane and catch up with Peter Hackett. Find out what went wrong.
Yeah, not the start we were after. We've had dramas all weekend. A few silly mistakes in practice, and then the engine wasn't quite running right and getting really hot. And out there we thought we could change the maps and try and short shift and nurse it home, but instead of running at about 105 degrees, instead of running at 55 degrees, it blew out to about 105, and then the engine just retards the timing, and we're down to about 50% power, so there's no point in risking an engine just to circulate.
Well, disappointment for Peter Hackett, but it's joy and jubilation, not only for that man Ian Dyke, but the entire team, Sam Astuti and David Borg, his new team for 2004. And what a great drive by this young guy. Gilmore doing a great job, Karl Reindler sitting in third, but that is the man who has shattered the lap record here at the Clipsal 500. 1:19.49, checkered flag out, and Ian Dyke takes first blood in 2004.
They've got to be absolutely ecstatic with that as Karl Reindler comes around now in third position. What a fantastic effort by those guys.
Well, our pole sitter for the next race will be Chris Gilmore. He will finish in second, Karl Reindler in third, then Marcus Marshall, a great debut by him, Daniel Pappas, John Pettit, Craig Rundle, the first of our trophy class, and David Borg rounds out the top 8.
First race of 16, so we've got a long way to go, but what a way to start the championship. From here it can only go forward, so where we're at. The car was fantastic the whole race. We didn't quite get the start we wanted, but within a lap we were at the front and we just went from there, no looking back.
I got a blinder of a start and I'm like, oh, here we go. Caught up and then bang, he was gone. But tomorrow's a different race and we'll see how we go tomorrow.